The other thing that's going on beneath the surface, though, which maybe doesn't get talked about enough, is if you think about why Bitcoin has done so well over the last 18 months, it's been a really simple story where ETFs and corporations have bought something like 5x the new supply.
Yeah.
So there's been more demand than supply. Well, actually, since the start of May, ETFs and corporations have bought 32x the supply of Ethereum.
Have you looked at the Ethereum price lately? Do you understand why this is happening? You are actually being deceived on why Ethereum's price is going up. Nobody could fully explain this before, but now we finally can. Like, is now the time to sell your Bitcoin for Ethereum, considering everything we're seeing happening? I've been seeing a lot of new people asking this. Share this video with one crypto friend wondering the same thing, because in the next 3 to 5 minutes, you will know everything. And to be honest, the answer might surprise you. Smash the like button, support the content. Money is flooding into Ethereum. What's next is obvious. It's not a coincidence that BlackRock's head of digital assets left BlackRock to join the Ethereum treasury company SharpLink Gaming, all while BlackRock's ETF actually becomes the third fastest ETF ever to hit 10 billion. All while Tom Lee stealthily becomes the single biggest Ethereum holder in the world.
You know, I think that there is really a rediscovery of Ethereum that's taking place, because Ethereum itself is one of the best performing crypto assets. It's really taken off recently because the stablecoin is the ChatGPT moment for crypto. Circle has blown the doors open. There's a lot of interest now on Wall Street getting involved with Ethereum and building stablecoins. That's 30% of Ethereum's network usage today.
So much is happening in crypto. We keep you informed on a daily basis. Smash the like button and subscribe to Altcoin Daily for more videos just like this. Now let me explain everything to you. Is now the time to sell your Bitcoin for Ethereum? Comment your answer below. Is now the time to sell your Bitcoin for Ethereum? I'm reading your comments. I see arguments for holding only Bitcoin. I see arguments for only holding Ethereum. I'm curious to hear what you actually think to this question, so participate by commenting your thoughts below. So, Bitcoin or Ethereum? Let's talk about it. In just 3 to 4 minutes, you will know everything. So let's start here. First, understand the real reason Ethereum is going up. Most people just think, well, the vibes have shifted for Ethereum, but there's more to it than that. Most people just think, oh, well, Tom Lee is bullish now.
I think in the near term, our technical strategist, Mark Newton, thought we could be seeing 4,000 before the end of the month for Ethereum, but that's not where it peaks. He just thinks that that's the first target. And then I think something, if Sean Farrell's math is correct, then I think 10 to 15,000 actually makes sense too.
By the end of the year?
It could be end of year, it could be sooner. I mean, it just really depends. But that wouldn't be the cap.
But there is so much more going on here than just this. This is the clearest, most concise explanation I've ever heard about why Ethereum's price is going up and why Ethereum's price will keep going up. Listen.
Yeah, there's been a real vibe shift on Ethereum, to use your word, Alex. I think it started when the Ethereum Foundation replaced its leadership, which happened earlier this year. There was a recognition that it was moving too slow, that it was too ivory tower and not enough real world. And they started to gain momentum. And then you're right, Tom Lee came on board and packaged it in a great marketing scheme, as he always does. Tom's a good friend of mine, and talked about Ethereum as the stablecoin chain. The other thing that's going on beneath the surface, though, which maybe doesn't get talked about enough, is if you think about why Bitcoin has done so well over the last 18 months, it's been a really simple story where ETFs and corporations have bought something like 5x the new supply.
Yeah.
So there's been more demand than supply. Well, actually, since the start of May, ETFs and corporations have bought 32x the supply of Ethereum, because we've had this huge growth in Ethereum ETP flows, right? They did, I think, $5 billion over the last 8 weeks. And we've had this huge growth of corporations buying Ethereum. So the same sort of supply demand story that drove Bitcoin for the last 18 months, and Ethereum just kind of sat there and went down, is now happening in Ethereum. So there's a vibe dynamic and there's a supply demand dynamic. And you have to ask yourself, will these vibes continue? Absolutely. Stablecoins and tokenization are going up and to the right from interest levels. And then will the supply demand dynamics continue? I think absolutely. Ethereum inflows don't look to me like they're going to reverse. And these ETH treasury companies are trading at something like 2x their NAV, which means there's going to be more of them. So at least from the short term, I think the trends we've seen since the start of April really are going to persist in ETH, and I'm pretty bullish, and I think it'll get to new all-time highs.
So, Bitcoin or Ethereum? Bitcoin or Ethereum? Let's talk about what I see happening in crypto right now. A lot of people are selling their Bitcoin for Ethereum, or at least a lot of people are commenting about selling their Bitcoin for Ethereum. A lot of people try to swap their holdings in general every once in a while in crypto and ride the market trends. I think that's a big mistake. In fact, that's the number one mistake I see people making every cycle in crypto, especially new people, moving their money around, trading too much. Listen, I can do that, of course. A lot of smart traders can make a lot of money trading crypto. We do that all the time. But you need to understand proper risk management before you do this. If you're new, I think your best bet is to build up a Bitcoin position over time, but also build up an Ethereum position over time. I have both. Sometimes Bitcoin outperforms Ethereum, sometimes Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. And maybe the biggest reason why I won't sell my Ethereum for Bitcoin is because I believe that Bitcoin will take gold's market cap someday. I think it will take half of gold's market cap first, and then eventually overtake it all. That means Bitcoin is still highly undervalued today, and some people, smart people, even believe that one day Bitcoin will be more valuable than gold. Listen.
Bitcoin is a new global reserve asset. It will surpass gold. So take that as take-home values from this talk. One thing, Bitcoin will be more valuable than gold shortly. Now, today, at $105,000 per Bitcoin, the 2 billion, the 20 million Bitcoins that are out there, well, they're worth, 2 point something trillion. Gold is worth like 16 trillion. So Bitcoin should go up at least 8 times to equate the storehouse or the value storage capacity of gold. And I have no doubts that it will happen very shortly. If you look at any trend, gold, in terms of Bitcoin, the trend is going down, and it's so easy to see,
Bitcoin might never stop going up. Bitcoin might never stop going up. Yes, obviously there'll be ebbs and flows and maybe a bear market for a year or 2 or 3. But over longer periods of time, Bitcoin will never stop going up, at least according to Michael Saylor. I was surprised by his answer in this clip right here. If this is true, this makes me really happy that I'm a Bitcoin holder. Make sure you subscribe to Altcoin Daily for daily videos just like this, and you tell me, does Michael Saylor make sense in this clip here?
Well, what happens if it stops going up? It's like, well, what happens if water stops flowing downhill? What happens if time goes backwards, right? What happens if the law of thermodynamics no longer holds? What happens when people decide they want less secure things rather than more secure things? What happens when they want crappy stuff instead of good stuff, right? It's not going to happen, right? There's a natural progression here, which is intelligent people are moving their money from a more disordered state to a less disordered state, from a shorter life expectancy container to a longer life expectancy container. They're moving from an unsafe place to a safer place.